The trial rages on. Lines between truth and lies blur. Friendships fracture. Loyalties buckle. And under the surface, secrets are moving like fault lines, one sudden shift away from a total eruption. From an explosive confrontation to a shocking theory that could upend everything. Salem is bracing for impact. And on Thursday, August 14th, the gloves come off. It's midday at the bistro, but the cozy clinking of cutlery and hum of soft conversation are drowned under an invisible tension that coils between two people at the center table. Xander Kyriakis leans forward, elbows braced on the table, his broad shoulders squared like a man ready for a fight. His jaw is locked, his eyes unflinching as they bore into Sarah Kyriakis. Sarah sits upright, hands folded neatly in front of her, but her calm posture masks a simmering anger. She doesn't have to raise her voice to cut him down, she has a list of grievances ready, each one sharper than the last. Every lie, every betrayal, every broken promise he's ever made plays like an accusation in her eyes. Xander has heard it all before. But today, something in him snaps. "You've already decided I'm guilty of everything, haven't you?" he says, his voice low yet laced with steel. The remark earns him a few curious glances from nearby diners, but neither of them cares. Sarah doesn't flinch. "You've given me more than enough reason," she fires back, each word deliberate, the kind meant to leave a sting. Leaning in closer, Xander lowers his tone, not to soften his words, but to sharpen them. He warns her that she's only seeing the version of the story others want her to believe. That maybe she's been taking her cues from people with their own agendas, people who would love to see them ripped apart for good. From across the room, Gabby Hernandez watches like a cat observing a mousetrap spring. A sly smirk plays on her lips as she sips her drink, remembering just how easily her playful banter with Xander had unsettled Sarah. She doesn't need to say a word, the damage is already happening. The exchange ends with no dramatic walkouts or thrown glasses, but the silence that follows is heavy, dangerous. Xander's words may have chipped away at Sarah's wall of anger, or they may have cemented it into something far stronger. Across Salem, the storm is already raging, and at its center is Rachel Black. Her footsteps pound against the floor as she paces, her cheeks flushed crimson, eyes glassy with rage. There's no mistaking the spark in her temper, it's pure Demera fire, inherited straight from her mother. But this isn't the typical stomp and shout of a moody teenager. There's a rawness to it, something almost dangerous. Her voice, sharp and cracking, ricochets off the walls as she hurls accusations and denials at anyone who dares to approach. It's unclear what set her off, a whispered comment about the trial, a name she overheard, or perhaps something she saw that she wasn't supposed to. Whatever it was enough to light the fuse. She slams a door, sends a stack of papers scattering to the floor, and glares at anyone who so much as breathes in her direction. The air hums with the kind of chaos only Rachel can create. Standing nearby, Marlena Evans observes with quiet, unsettling focus. She's seen this kind of eruption before, but today, it carries a different weight. In her mind, fragments of EJ's hypnosis session begin to align. The image of a gun, the phrase, "Why don't you give that to me?" The connection is chilling. Marlena's expression darkens, the possibility forming in her mind too heavy to say aloud. Could Rachel, this volatile, hurting young girl, have been the one holding the weapon that night? If the answer is yes, the fallout will be unimaginable. Back in the courthouse, the air is heavy, thick with the scent of polished wood and the quiet hum of whispered conversations. Every creak of the benches seems louder than it should, every shift of paper echoing in the stillness. Chanel Dupree Demera sits in the gallery, her hands clenched tightly in her lap, eyes fixed on the spectacle unfolding at the witness stand. EJ Demera is in his element, his voice sharp, his questions cutting, each one designed to strip away the witness's composure piece by piece. There's a precision to his method, the way a master swordsman might dismantle his opponent without wasting a single strike. But then, he pushes too far. What starts as a line of probing questions twists unexpectedly into something personal, aimed directly at Johnny DiMera. The words are like salt poured into a wound, calculated, cruel, and meant to provoke. Chanel feels the heat rise in her chest before she even realizes she's on her feet. Her voice rings out, clear and unwavering, slicing through the courtroom's murmur like a bell. She challenges EJ, her words steady but carrying the weight of raw conviction. Every syllable is laced with a silent vow, "I will not let you humiliate him." Her gaze finds Johnny's, and in that fleeting moment, the noise and tension fade. There's only the quiet exchange between them, a look that says more than any testimony ever could. For Johnny, it's gratitude and admiration. For EJ, it's a reminder that sometimes, love is the most dangerous adversary of all. The day bleeds into late afternoon, and the courthouse buzz slowly fades into the background as EJ steps away from the chaos. He seeks out a quieter space, somewhere the eyes of Salem can't follow, where the air feels still enough to think. He doesn't come here alone. Across from him sits someone unexpected, a figure you'd never imagine as his sounding board. There's a wary curiosity in their eyes, as if they're not entirely sure why they've been summoned. EJ leans back, the weight of the trial visible in the tension of his shoulders. His tone shifts, softer, almost reflective, as he begins to talk. He speaks of the night he was shot, not with the rehearsed precision of a man in court, but with the fragmented honesty of someone sifting through memory. There are pieces of doubt, flickers of fear, and threads of simmering anger that slip through his carefully built armor. But EJ DiMera is never without a motive. Even in this moment of apparent candor, there's the sense of a chess player making his next calculated move. Each detail he shares could be the truth, or a carefully planted seed meant to influence his listener. By the time their conversation ends, one thing is certain: this unexpected confidant now holds information that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. And in Salem, secrets have a way of turning on the people who keep them. Night has settled over Salem, wrapping the town in a hush that feels heavier than the summer heat. Inside Marlena Evans' office, the light is dim, coming only from the amber glow of a desk lamp and the faint shimmer of moonlight through the blinds. The air smells faintly of coffee and old books, familiar, yet laced with a quiet tension. Belle Black sits across from her mother, one hand curled around a mug she hasn't touched. She's been watching Marlena for minutes now, the way her fingers tap lightly against the desk, the way her gaze seems locked somewhere far away. Belle knows that look. Marlena has been carrying something heavy, and tonight, she's ready to set it down. When Marlena finally speaks, her voice is soft but deliberate, each word carefully measured. She begins by retracing EJ's hypnosis session, how he described the shadowy figure with the gun, the chilling phrase, "Why don't you give that to me?" Then she threads in her own observations of Rachel Black, the sudden tantrums, the flashes of defensiveness, the way her entire demeanor shifts whenever the shooting is mentioned. As Marlena connects the dots, Belle's expression changes from mild concern to shock. The implications are clear before Marlena even says the words, but hearing them aloud makes it real. "I think it might have been Rachel," Marlena says quietly, as though speaking the truth too loudly could shatter the walls around them. The room falls silent. Belle's fingers tighten around her mug, her mind racing with the fallout this revelation could unleash, not just for the trial, but for the families entangled in it. Protecting a child is one thing, but protecting a child who may have done the unthinkable? That's a storm unlike any other. One day. 5 pivotal moments. From fierce clashes and unguarded confessions to a theory that could tear apart everything the trial has built. On Thursday, August 14th, the masks in Salem will slip. And once the truth starts clawing its way to the surface, it won't just scrape old wounds, it will cut so deep, the scars may never fade. Because in this town, the most dangerous secrets are the ones whispered behind closed doors, by the people you thought you could trust.